Starting next month, my mom's moving in. Clear out a room.
Even over the phone, I could tell Ryan was smirking. I bet his mother-in-law is laughing at me too. I could easily picture the two of them and had to stifle the urge to burst out laughing. Okay, I'll call movers to get my stuff out.
What? Movers.
Ryan's voice changed from laughter to confusion. This time, I couldn't help but laugh out loud.
Why?
We're getting a divorce.
Huh?
With that, I hung up the phone. Then I turned to the two people who were helping me. All right, let's get started. The two smiled and nodded at my words. Then I moved everything out and sold the house. A few days later, I got a frantic call from Ryan.
What the hell? What did you do to my house?
What are you talking about? That house is mine. I'm the one paying the mortgage. If I'm not using it, of course I'm going to sell it.
Oh,
It seems he finally remembered. I then called Ryan and his mother, Nancy, to a diner to confront them about something. I'm Catherine Irwin, a 56-year-old part-time housewife working from home. I used to work for a company, but due to certain circumstances, I became independent and started earning a decent income. My husband, Ryan, also works, but he keeps all his earnings as pocket money and doesn't give me a cent. So, our current lifestyle is supported entirely by me. Ryan's mother, Nancy, lives alone at his family home. Nancy is a real piece of work, always.
Ryan, Catherine is being.
Catherine, why can't you be nicer to my mom?
Nancy constantly bad-mouths me to Ryan. Ryan is completely devoted to his mother, always prioritizing her over me. To make things worse, Nancy puts on a great show for others. Because of this, around their neighborhood, I'm seen as the bad daughter-in-law who neglects her mother-in-law.
Catherine, can you teach me how to make beef stew next time?
Sure, I'd be happy to. My only allies are my niece, Emily, a college student, and my brother-in-law, Michael. Michael is the husband of Ryan's sister, who passed away in a car accident when Emily was little. Michael is a busy doctor, and since his parents are also deceased, I often took care of Emily, which is why she's close to me.
What are Uncle Ryan and Grandma talking about? Why would anyone be nice to someone who only bad-mouths them?
Emily stands up to Ryan and Nancy for me. Michael also helps by subtly keeping them at bay when he's around. Thanks to them, I can still endure being part of this family. One day, while I was working, the doorbell rang. With a sigh, I trudged to the door. Sorry to keep you waiting.
You're late. Making me wait in the scorching heat. Is that your plan, to let me faint?
Complaining, Nancy barged into the house. She often shows up unannounced like this. As soon as she stepped in, she plopped down on the sofa.
What are you standing around for? Get me some coffee, and bring some snacks too. I feel like having something sweet today, so give me some cake.
Yes, I understand. Once this starts, I can't get any work done. Nancy just sits on the couch, gives me orders, and lounges around watching TV. At first, I ignored her or talked back, but then things would start flying at me. Plus, Ryan would come home and yell at me, so it's better to just keep quiet. Of course, I could just not let her in, But if I tried to pretend I wasn't home, she'd just ring the doorbell nonstop and yell. So, to avoid bothering the neighbors, I let her in.
Oh my, look at this mess. How can you not clean up as a proper wife should?
Well, that's because Ryan. What she pointed at was the mess Ryan made searching for his phone before leaving for work. He left without cleaning it up, even though the phone was still plugged into the charger in the bedroom. I was just about to clean it up when Nancy arrived.
Blaming Ryan for your inability to do housework. You're really a terrible wife.
I'm very sorry. I bit my tongue, resisting the urge to scream, "It's your son's fault," and quickly cleaned up. Then I checked the clock. It was almost time for my online meeting. "Nancy, I'm really sorry, but I have to work now."
Work? Oh, you mean that game you play? All you do is play games instead of doing housework.
Nancy is old-fashioned and doesn't understand working from home. She thinks I'm just playing games on my computer. No matter how many times I deny and explain, she refuses to listen. Anyway, you need to leave today.
You're so loud. Why did Ryan marry such a horrible woman?
By the time I managed to get her out, the meeting was about to start. I hurried to get ready. Sorry for being late. They kindly told me not to worry. They understood the situation because Nancy had interrupted a meeting before. After the meeting, I checked around the house. Not again. All the prepared meals in the fridge were gone, and my designer handbag was missing. This always happens when Nancy comes over. It's normal for things to go missing. I'm beyond angry. I'm just exhausted and sigh in frustration.
I heard from my mom. You kicked her out in this heat.
I have work to do too. If that bothers you, tell her to stop coming over unannounced.
My mom comes over to teach you how to be a proper wife. How can you talk like that?
Ryan yelled at me as soon as he got home. I argued back, but as usual, he wouldn't listen. Stealing my stuff and food is her way of teaching me to be a good wife?
My mom would never do that. Stop making things up, you infertile.
Infertile. That word made me fall silent. The truth is, I'm unable to have children easily. I've always loved kids, so this fact still pains me deeply. Ryan looked down at me with a sneer and headed off to the bedroom. He used to be so much better. Ryan wasn't always like this.
I don't need kids. Let's just have a happy life together.
He used to say things like that to me. Thinking back, he probably said those sweet things because he didn't want to lose me. Right after I was diagnosed as infertile, his sister passed away. For Nancy, her granddaughter was the only one left, and since Michael is a doctor who sends money, she wanted to keep him close. But Nancy, who only cared about having a grandson, didn't want to take care of a granddaughter. So she couldn't let go of me, who was likely to look after Emily, and use sweet words to keep me around. Well, I didn't mind taking care of Emily, and Michael was supportive, so that part was fine.
Nancy, Ryan, I appreciate Catherine's help. So, I'll continue sending money, but if I see any more of this behavior, you know what will happen, right?
Michael's warning kept them in check. I also didn't want to lose my connection with Emily and Michael, so I stayed married and complied. Even so, I'm reaching my limit. Since then, Ryan has been completely ignoring me. Living in this tense atmosphere is suffocating. What? What is this? Suddenly, a huge load of stuff arrived from Nancy. When I checked, it was full of clothes and household items. I immediately called Nancy, but she didn't answer at all.
Catherine.
Emily? As I was pondering what to do, Emily rushed in. I let her in and listened to her, out of breath.
I overheard a conversation. Grandma and Uncle Ryan are planning to move in here without your permission.
My mind went blank. The stress was already unbearable, and now they wanted to move in? Thanks for telling me. But how did you find out?
You told me about Grandma stealing your stuff, remember?
Indeed, I had vented to Emily about Nancy, mentioning my missing belongings and prepped meals. Emily had visited their house under the pretext of bringing Michael's money to search for my things. That's when she overheard Nancy on the phone.
Grandma sold all the stuff she stole from you and went on a trip with Uncle Ryan.
What? My things.
Dad said he heard Grandma bragging loudly this morning.
Emily's words prompted me to call Ryan next. As expected, he didn't answer the phone either.
Catherine.
What is it?
Do you love Uncle Ryan?
Emily asked seriously. I shook my head.
Then I have a suggestion. I talked to my dad about it, and he fully supports it.
Emily made a surprising suggestion, and I decided to accept it. A few hours later, Ryan called me back. Hello?
Sorry, I was on a plane and had to turn off my phone. What's up?
Nancy's stuff arrived.
Yeah, we're going to live with my mom.
It's been a while since I've heard Ryan sound this cheerful. I responded calmly. I wasn't told about this.
Your opinion doesn't matter. She's moving in next month. Make space for her.
I could almost hear him smirking over the phone. I imagined Nancy laughing at me too. The thought of them together made me want to laugh out loud. All right, I'll call the movers to pack up my things.
What? Movers.
Ryan's voice shifted from laughter to confusion. I couldn't help but laugh out loud.
Why?
We're getting a divorce.
What?
I hung up after saying that. I turned to my two allies. All right, let's get started. They smiled and nodded at me. Then I moved everything out and sold the house. After all, I was the one paying the mortgage. I'm a freelance programmer. I became independent to take care of Emily, and my clients continued to give me work, even recommending me to others, so I earn quite well. That's why I could afford to pay the $1,800 mortgage and cover the living expenses. Meanwhile, Ryan's take-home pay was only about $1,200 a month. He couldn't afford to live in that house on his income alone. Thank you for your help, Michael.
I'm glad I could help.
It was Michael and Emily who helped me back then. Emily said to me,
If you're okay with it, why don't you come live with us?
"What? Move in with you and Michael? But..."
Don't worry about it. Actually, we've been talking about taking you in for a while.
Taking me in? Emily and Michael were grateful to me and were angry about how Ryan and Nancy treated me. They had been looking for an opportunity to get me away from them. But won't it be a burden?
No. In fact, my dad wants you to come live with us too.
With Emily's earnest request, I decided to move in with them. Emily called Michael, who soon arrived with movers.
I'm sorry, I must have surprised you, didn't I?
No, it's fine. I appreciate your help.
Of course. Let's do this together.
So, I moved to Michael's house while Ryan and Nancy were on their trip. During that time, Michael was very kind to me.
Catherine, you're really strong. But from now on, please rely on me too.
His words made my heart flutter for the first time in a long while. A few days later, Ryan called me frantically.
What the hell? What did you do to my house?
What are you talking about? That house is mine. I'm the one paying the mortgage. If I'm not using it, of course I'm going to sell it.
Oh,
It seems he finally remembered. I then called Ryan and Nancy to a diner to confront them about something.
What's going on here?
Please keep your voice down. It's rude. People are watching. I chose a diner because of the public setting. Nancy, who cares about appearances, couldn't argue back in front of others.
why did you sell the house? And when I looked in, most of the furniture and appliances were gone too.
I bought those with my own money. I took what I needed to my new place and had the rest taken to a recycling shop.
Where did you move? I'll go there too.
Like I'd tell you, we're getting divorced. Ryan froze at my words. Did he think I was joking? Or did he never imagine I'd actually leave him?
You can't be serious about the divorce, right?
I am serious. I've had enough of you. I'm divorcing you and demanding alimony.
What?
I showed Ryan the evidence of the verbal abuse he had subjected me to over the years. This is just a copy. The original is with my lawyer. My lawyer assured me that this would be enough to get a substantial alimony.
You won't be able to survive without me.
Too bad for you. I make more than twice what you do. Next, I showed him records of my income. In fact, getting divorced would be better for me. If you agree to forego any claim on our assets, I won't ask for alimony.
Can't we reconsider? I accepted you even though you're infertile.
How can you even say that? You always used my infertility to shut me up. I have records of those comments too. I then pulled out the divorce papers. I had already filled out my part. Ryan stared at them, his face turning pale.
You're kidding, right?
And this is for Nancy.
Huh?
I handed Nancy a photo of her putting my designer handbag into her large bag. I had set up a camera in my room when I realized she was stealing from me. Thanks to that, I had solid evidence. Originally, I planned to use this evidence to get my stolen items back, but it seems she sold them the same day she took them.
What is this?
I could overlook you stealing food, but this is outright theft.
But we're family.
I can report theft if it's from a relative living separately, and I've already filed a police report. Both their faces turned pale. No matter how much she cared about appearances, being arrested would destroy her reputation.
Please withdraw the report immediately.
Nancy shouted. Other diners started staring, but she didn't seem to care anymore. That depends on Ryan.
What?
If you sign the divorce papers right now, I'll withdraw the police report. Nancy looked at Ryan, pleading. With trembling hands, he signed the papers. Good. Now, I'll be going. After confirming everything was in order, I took the bill as a final courtesy and left the diner first.
Ryan, it's okay. Let's get rid of that wife. You can find a young, obedient one.
Before I exited, I heard Nancy comforting Ryan. The two of them were too focused on themselves to notice, but some of their neighbors from their community were at the diner for a tea gathering. I saw them watching Ryan and Nancy suspiciously. The thought of what was ahead for those two made me smile. And so Ryan and I divorced without any issues. As promised, I didn't ask for alimony and withdrew the police report.
Are you sure about this?
Yes, I'd rather not give him a penny, and karma will get them both eventually. When I consulted with my lawyer, I had him investigate what Ryan had been spending his money on. It turns out he had been using his earnings for gambling. As a result, Ryan had no savings at all. Even if he returned to his family home, life would be tough for him. A while later, Ryan called me.
Please help me.
The first thing he said was a plea for help. Then he started rambling about his recent troubles without me even asking. Apparently, he tried to use his remaining money to pay off his gambling debts by gambling more, but it backfired. He ended up with even more debt. On top of that, Nancy caused trouble with the neighbors. The people who were at the diner had spread the word about our conversation, ruining Nancy's good reputation. Living under constant gossip, Nancy lost her temper and damaged a neighbor's property.
And then my mom got arrested.
Oh dear. Nancy must have always had a violent streak. With me gone, she had no outlet for her stress and finally snapped. Ryan sold the family home and moved into a cheap apartment. But with his debt and the damages Nancy caused, he couldn't afford it.
Please help me. We're married, aren't we?
We're not. So, I have no obligation to help you. I hung up the phone. Though the neighbors had often been a nuisance, they were useful this time. Still, I wanted nothing more to do with them. I thought that was the end of it, but Ryan wouldn't give up.
Hey, I know you're in there.
A while later, Ryan showed up at our house. Michael happened to be off that day, so he dealt with Ryan with me.
Hey, give me back my wife.
Ex-wife, you mean? Have you forgotten what you did to Catherine?
Michael said, putting his arm around my shoulder. Ryan's eyes widened as I didn't pull away. Actually, the day after our divorce was finalized, Michael had confessed his feelings to me.
I've always liked you, Catherine, for all you've done for us. I know it's sudden after your divorce, but I had to tell you.
That's what he said. I hadn't seen Michael in that light before, so I haven't given him an answer yet. Well, seeing how reliable he's been through all this has made me feel drawn to him, to be honest.
There's no place for you here. Please leave.
At least restart the allowance.
No way. The allowance was originally something my late wife did as a mother, so I continued it as a gesture of thanks for looking after Emily. Catherine was the one who should have received it in the first place.
Dejected, Ryan left with slumped shoulders. I hope this means he'll give up. I watched him go coldly. I later heard about Ryan from mutual acquaintances. After that, the company found out about everything, and he had to quit his job. He tried to find another job, but every company turned him down. Most companies around here have worked with me and know my story, so getting a job will be tough for him. Ryan ended up getting caught by debt collectors and was reportedly being forced to work in low-paying, long-hour, and harsh working conditions. Nancy, too, was taken away and put to work doing menial tasks, although they tried to come to me before being taken away.
Catherine, I think we should move far away just in case.
Yes, I agree. We had moved even farther away, so they haven't been able to find us. With Emily's encouragement, Michael and I got engaged.
Finally, I can call you Mom.
Emily said, smiling, and I felt happy, albeit a bit embarrassed. Thank you. I've always thought of you as a daughter, so I'm glad.
Yeah, you have to be there as my mom when I get married.
Something else good happened, too. Chloe, dinner's ready. A cat rubbed against my leg. I'd wanted a cat for a long time, but Ryan was against it. When I mentioned it to Michael, he was all for it, and we adopted a rescue cat. Fortunately, Chloe warmed up to us quickly. Life with a warm and loving family, so different from the days with Ryan, is true happiness. This is real happiness. Michael and I got married after that. At first, we were too embarrassed to have a wedding.
You have to have one. You're finally a couple, and I want to see my parents' wedding.
Emily insisted. So we had a small family ceremony. Emily became independent as soon as she started her career.
I'll find a partner who makes me as happy as you too.
Hey, don't forget to focus on work too.
Of course.
Emily is aiming to become a doctor, just like her father. It'll take some time, but I'm sure she'll be an excellent doctor. Dad will be home soon. I petted the cat while looking at our wedding photos. Then I heard the front door open. I picked up the cat and went to greet Michael. Welcome home.
I'm home.
Michael smiled warmly as I greeted him with the cat. The days of suffering because of Ryan and Nancy are long gone, replaced by calm and loving days I never thought possible. I will continue to cherish these precious moments with my dear family.